All right, what's up, everyone? This is the Osmo.com NHL Hit the Ice Show. We have a 7-game slate to talk about tonight. As you see me scrolling through on DraftKings right now, I will pull up the NHL lineup builder.
Teacher.
Hope you guys all had a good
Musician.
night. I did not.
Author.
But we're going to get it back tonight, right, Nolan?
Absolutely, we are.
Yeah.
Sure.
So, you guys all had. What's the nuts tonight? Where do you see ownership? Where are you kind of pivoting off of, or to?
It's a good question. I think Vegas too is going to be owned. They're getting talked up, so I'm a little bit worried about them because I like them a lot. I think Edmonton 1 people are going to go to. Maybe they won't have the newest line with Gagne off and Cassian in. That's possible, so that might be an edge. And I think that Columbus 1 is probably going to be pretty popular. And then after that, maybe I don't know, Vegas 1, Dallas, just the usual, pretty spread out after that. What's your take?
Yeah, Columbus, I think maybe is a little bit popular. I think McDavid. I think many of you will know kind of where I side on the McDavid thing right now, but we'll talk about that game in once we get a couple under our belt. Tommy Nation was buried deep in the standings last night. Yep, I was definitely buried very deep. So just kind of getting that one out of the way. There's a big $200 tonight that I won a couple tickets to, not last night, but in prior days.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's, we'll get it back. You got to have one of those nights every once in a while. And,
I'm having one of those months right now, so it happens.
That's the worst. So luckily it's been a better month for me, but I don't know. Everyone goes through these lulls every once in a while, so you just got to study harder and just try to replicate what some of the top players are doing. So we're going to try to do that for you, as well as talk about general strategy, as we always do. Good to see a bunch of the regulars in chat already. And of course, we've got this giveaway still going on. So started on the 25th. It's going through March 4th. We are giving away a $200 NHLshop.com gift card. Just kind of as a thank you to you guys for watching us all year. And this is just for NHL people, just for the people that watch this show. You know, there's about 100 to 130 of you in here live at any given show. And it's pretty good odds to win this $200 gift card. So if you like NHL swag, this is a pretty good contest. And it's free to enter, as always. So the way you enter it is same thing as always. You like the show, and you're going to comment. So today for the prompt, it will be, let's see, we've done which player you can never get right, your biggest sweat, and your favorite tournament on DK. Let's do, if you could complete one trade purely for DFS benefits, what would it be? That's a pretty interesting one. So we just came off the trade deadline. If you could complete one trade purely for DFS benefits, who would it be? So what would the swap be? Or who would you have going to play with who? Or which line would you put together, type of thing?
Do I have to answer right now?
No, you can think about it. So you guys have about an hour to think. Nolan and I will try to think. I've got a couple that actually could have come true, like Stone going to play with Bergeron and Marchand. Like, that would have been just ridiculous.
They would have put him on the second line, though, wouldn't they?
I don't know. I mean, maybe they would just keep Pasternak together, but I don't know. Just that trio would be wild. There's a couple other ones, like Taylor Hall with McDavid, which we saw for about a year, and then they decided
just rubbing salt in those wounds.
Yeah. So there's stuff like that.
I would like, not just as a Canucks fan, but just generally, I would like Pettersson and Besser to get another high-end winger.
That would be sweet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't
so
tease
that's
me.
why I was kind of on Team Tank this year, hoping they could maybe get one of these top two picks, but that's not happening. So, but to trade, I don't know. It's a great question.
Yeah.
Someone for Larkin.
Yeah. So you guys got a while to think about it. So could be someone on this slate, could be someone on a slate prior, but just kind of dream up your dream scenario. You get one trade. It could be a 1-for-1 or whatever, something somewhat realistic. Like, who would you like to see play with who? Maybe there's a better way to phrase that question, just purely for DFS. Like, which line would you go all in on?
Thomas Chabot on the Leafs.
Oh yeah, that'd be nice. That'd be a good one. Brent Burns, just being Brent Burns, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
On any team.
Brent Burns on the Predators, just
Kucherov to LA.
Stupid.
Kucherov to LA, boom. What? So he could score.
Kucherov to LA
once. They could lose 3-1 every game.
That's the worst. That's last place, and whatever anyone says today, that's the last place vote.
That's our buddy Bobby Boom. Casey Middlestat for Connor McDavid. Yeah, that's pretty fair. Seth in chat. Buffalo 2.
I mean, if McDavid was playing with Middlestat, then that's a 100% line every single night. Oh, yeah,
for sure. Brent Burns to the Blackhawks. Kachuk to Vancouver. All right, so you guys have some really good ones. But keep these. Make sure you comment on the actual video once it's done, so not the live chat. And then you will gain additional entries as we go. So we're kind of in the home stretch of the NHL season. The content won't stop. We will have stuff going into the playoffs. So I'll be doing live streams, especially on the bigger slates, the first couple rounds. I'm sure Nolan will jump on a couple of those. So regular season is closing out. We're kind of in the final 6 weeks or so. But we're looking to give back a little bit with this NHL Shop gift card. $200 for free. So like the video, you can do that whenever. You can do that now if you'd like. And then comment. Purely for DFS, which trade would you make? Who do you want to see play together? Josh Anderson to Stud Boys? I don't know what that means. All right. Anyway, now that we've had a little bit of a discussion, do we need to do anything else? Need to mention anything else off the top of the slate as far as ownership goes? I think we covered a little bit of it, but it looks like we got a few more viewers.
We're probably on the same page there. So
yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
We'll go through it as we get in, I guess.
Yeah. Let's do it. Maple Leafs and the Islanders 2.9 implied total for the Leafs, 2.9 as well for the Isles. Garrett Sparks going up against Robin Lehner. Any news and notes here?
Yes. So for the Islanders, Josh Bailey is back up on the second line with Andrew Ladd and Barzal, and then Komarov, I think, was up there last game. Is that right? So yeah. Komarov is back down on the third line with Filppula and Beauvillier. Everything else is pretty much the same for both teams. I wouldn't expect anything to change for the Leafs, given that they played last night and won handily.
Yeah. So yeah, not a ton there. Nice to get Komarov off the Barzal line.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's definitely an upgrade for that line for sure, and like Ladd as well as an upgrade over like Knuckle, who was there for a few games. Though I'd probably rather have Beauvillier up there, but still.
For sure. So yeah, that's Llama's favorite guy. So Llama, if you're in chat, there's your Knuckle reference for the day. This one's tough. Like, you've got some firepower on the Leafs. You definitely do. They put up 6 goals last night. So they're capable of breakouts even in bad matchups. Not saying last night was a bad matchup, but just in general, there's just so much offensive talent here. I think the easiest guy to kind of somewhat cross off here is Morgan Riley, just a guy that I'm not really interested in. The Isles have just been so good defensively. I don't see this as a huge outburst for the Leafs offensively. So $6,400 for Riley is probably a no-go for me. As far as line matching goes, I don't know that we're going to see a lot of it. I don't have any hard match written down or anything. I don't know if you've seen anything different, Nolan, but they had been using the Nelson line kind of against opposing top lines. Here, they're probably just going to roll whoever, top 6 against top 6 type of thing, because you've got Matthews on one line and then Tavares and Marner on the other. Do you have a favorite play here?
Yeah, I guess I would probably go to the Islanders one just because of their power play correlation. I don't know what to make of this game. It's one of those ones I think you could go either way. The Islanders might be able to keep it close and keep the score down, or maybe like Toronto's just sort of run and gun style will be a boon to their offense. But I'm going to have some shares of Islanders 1 and maybe even a share or 2 of Islanders 2 here.
Yeah, I think 1 would for sure be my preference if I'm going to a bunch of Islanders. I don't think I'm going to end up on them as in like be over the field on them 2 or 3 times, anything like that. Leafs players talking about how bad they want to get the win for Tavares. Yeah, that could be a narrative thing that.
Oh yeah, Tavares revenge game narrative. I didn't even think about that. I'm so terrible at those. Is that the first time? This is his first time back in Long Island too, right?
I think so. And they're pretty butthurt about how it went down. It seems like a lot of Isles Twitter.
So we got like multiple revenge narratives here. One on the one hand we got Tavares, on the other hand we got the Islanders wanting to stick it to them. So
yeah. So Yeah, I think it would be the top line for me for the Islanders. I did have FanDuel pricing up, so Riley's actually not 6,400, but I knew he was expensive. 6,300 on DK, 64 on FanDuel. It's much easier to swallow over there. But I'm not playing on FanDuel. So just DK tonight for me for the foreseeable future. Yeah, I guess Isles won, like I said, but I don't know that I love the matchup really on either side for anything outside of Ryan Pulock for 5K. I really
that's my
Pulock.
go-to play as well. He's one of my favorite defensemen, and he grades out really well for you. The only negative against him really is that he just doesn't get the power play time, but he still manages to put up points. He's very reasonably priced. The Leafs give up a ton of points to defensemen. There's really not a lot not a lot of negatives in this spot. Like between him and Shabbat, that's going to be a lot of my defense core tonight.
Yep. Yeah, Pulock will be a top 2 or 3 owned guy for me for sure. And just because he's not on power play 1, I'm not worried about it. You're not really playing him for the power play time. It's just more of a defenseman against the Leafs have been really good. He's their most talented offensive defenseman, and he just lets it rip from wherever. So Jake loves Pulock. Yeah, he's like Nemeth, but a little bit better. So if you can fathom that, he's quite good.
And with that said, as well, I think you can play Nick Leddy tonight too.
You think so? 3K?
Yeah, he's so cheap. Power play 1.
Yeah.
Sign me up. He's my favorite 3K and under play today.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna, second that, but I understand. Like, I don't think I'm gonna play him. So
yeah.
I don't want to be disingenuous and say like he's a fine play.
22 minutes last game, power play 1 time, up against the 29th most fantasy points allowed to defensemen at home.
Yeah, I mean he's gonna have to score
3KD. Don't get much better than that.
He's gonna have to score a goal or get a multi-assist game, I think, for you to be like, yes, I played Nick Leddy. So
and all straight up though, like straight up, who would you rather have anyone else in this range? Would you rather? I guess you'd pay up. Would you rather pay up for like a Stetcher or? Like I think I'd still rather just have.
Let me see where I'm at here.
I mean, the thing is, like he's all yeah.
Like I do.
There's not a lot down here. I guess is what I'm saying.
Right. I think Savard's interesting at this exact same price. So there are other guys that I'm looking at, but I wouldn't be like, no, you can't play Nick Leddy tonight. Like at 4,700, like he's been at points this year, he's just an absolute cross off for me. Yeah. Or I don't even need to cross him off. He's just not gonna. He's just not going to come up for me because he doesn't do anything on his own. But 3K, power play 1 against Toronto, which is a good matchup just in general. It's okay. All right. Are you going heavy on any of these Leafs lines before we get out of here?
I might just have to take some Tavares just because of that narrative. But no, I actually didn't come up with, I think, maybe 1 or 2 shares in my 20 lineups today. So, which I'm okay with. They're just lines I like more, and they're on back-to-backs on the road up against the Islanders. Is not a great matchup. So
yeah, I'm not getting to a lot of the Leafs, but when I am getting to them, it's mostly with the Tavares line. So shocker there. Just a pretty decent price on them. The thing I'm having trouble with is just kind of a thing from watching games. The Islanders are really tough defensively, and they're pretty content if they get a 2-goal lead to just kind of dump it and just play D and be tough in the neutral zone type of thing. So
they're not
really
grading out well for Osmo either, too. So they both have B, not even A grades to those lines, and terrible values. So
they don't even have A points grades?
No, B for both.
Interesting. Wow. I figured. Okay. So that's pretty telling. You like either of the goalies here, Sparks or Leonard?
Yeah, I have a couple of Leonard shares in my Islander stacks, I think, but not too much.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not heavy on either one, so I'm ready to move on.
Leonard's got a decent price, and he should see some shots. So.
Yeah, and he's been good this year, so that's understandable for sure.
Coming off a shutout, I think.
Yeah, that was the game I was watching. I mean, it was against Vancouver, so it's a little bit different. But yeah, that was my tilt game. That one was a good one.
Sorry, he's coming off a loss to Calgary, so I don't even.
Oh, okay. So 2 games ago, he had the shutout. Yeah, he was incredible that game. All right, Flyers and the Columbus Blue Jackets, 2.9 implied total for the Flyers, 3.6 for the Blue Jackets. Brian Elliott and Sergei Bobrovsky in net here. Do we have any changes? I see 1 on the Columbus side.
Yeah, so big one. Pierre-Luc Dubois is back up on the top line. Matt Duchene is playing with his old buddy Ryan Zingle with Oliver Bjorkstrand. and that usual third line is together for them. So the only thing here is that no full power play correlation for Columbus 1 anymore, it looks like, if that is correct.
Yeah.
So.
And I mean, it's not a huge deal for me. You are getting a little bit of a discount on Dubois because he was down, not with Atkinson and Panarin. So
that's true.
It's just kind of a wash for me as far as the PP1 tag goes and Dubois' price. And who knows, he could end up there too. Probably less likely now that Duchesne's not there. They do like Foligno in that top unit, but there's still always a chance with Tortorella. Just loves to
Foligno
mix and
just
match.
never leaves that unit, does he?
Yeah, he's always there. So probably, he's probably on that second unit, but still, again, it doesn't really worry me. As far as matchups go, it's probably going to be top 6 against top 6, but just from a logic standpoint, you probably don't want Dubois, Panarin, and Atkinson to go up against Couturier. That's just one of those things that would be playing right into the hands of the Flyers. So you're at home, you want to kind of use that advantage. Probably going to get some favorable matchups here for Columbus 1, maybe against this Patrick Giroux line, maybe against the third line, some for Philadelphia as well. So that's the one I'm on here is Columbus 1, true Columbus 1 before Matt Duchene. What about you?
Yeah, I am. I think I will have. I was gonna ask you about Columbus 3 because they always seem to grade out pretty well for their price points. They're always a popular filler stack for a lot of people, but they just don't ever seem to break the slate. Like if a good game for them is generally like a goal, it seems like. Maybe am I wrong in that? Is that like my perception or?
No, I mean, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I think in general they're a line you're probably okay fading it. Just looking at some of their game logs, there's not a ton of multi-point games from multiple guys. So like Anderson will get his multiple points every once in a while, but you do have them a little bit split up on the power play too, and they usually see a good amount of tough matchups as well. And especially tonight, they're probably going to see a bunch of time against Couturier.
So for that price point, like within $1,000, you can get to Tampa 1, Philly 1, Islanders 1, Islanders 2. And even LA 1, I guess, if you're really dipping down. I kind of like LA 1 tonight, but like that. So that's like I'd much rather have most of those lines over Columbus 3.
I think I would too. So just be careful that like the even strength matchup is probably going to be a little tougher than what you're seeing from a purely projection standpoint. So that's kind of my only issue with them. I think they're going to be somewhat popular just because big total. People like to use Vegas, and people might not be looking into as much line matching stuff as maybe you and I might be. So
yeah.
All right, what are you doing with this Duchene line?
I'm not getting to it much, but I think by the same token, like it's going to go totally under-owned. So it's not a bad matchup. I don't know. Like, are they going to end up getting Couturier, or how do you think this plays out?
I'm just worried about any line that like Bjorkstrand's on. Just feels like it always gets broken up. So that's kind of my issue.
Although there's not really anyone to break it up with this time, right? It's not like we have these like Duclair, Wenberg pieces that he tends to kind of shuffle around. Like he keeps 3 together, he keeps 1 together. The only thing that could switch would be Dubois and Duchene, I think.
Yeah, I suppose, and that could happen too.
Maybe Dubinsky moves up. I don't know. But he doesn't seem enamored with Dubinsky either. So
we've seen it all, though. That's the issue. And Bjorkstrand and Dzingel, I don't know if they were playing together last game, but this is Zingel's second game with Columbus. Am I correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So he only played a little over 10 minutes. Again, in the last game. I mean, I don't know. Bjorkstrand rarely plays in the teens. It's really tough outside of this top line, I think, for me. So Homer Cleese points out that it doesn't look like they hard matched against the Pens. It was pretty spread out. Yeah, I think it's usually top 6 against top 6. So I'm just worried that Columbus, like the Duchene line, might get squeezed a bit just because.
Yeah, because like really the de facto second line for Columbus is the Anderson, Jenner, Foligno line. So that would probably be like they get the most ice time of 5-on-5 of any of those lines. So
yeah, I mean, I don't know. Dzingel at 6K is tough with no power play time either. So. Columbus 1 for me here. If I'm going to a Flyers line, it's probably the Patrick Giroux Konechny line. It's just more of a price thing than anything. Pretty expensive here for Couturier. and Voracek, and then Lindblom's price has finally come up as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to do. I'm like, at least you're not going to get much ownership on them.
Mm-hmm.
Not too enamored with any of these Philly lines, but what about you? You getting any of them?
Yeah, just the Patrick line, I think. That's probably where I'm going to draw the line for the most part. I guess we usually talk about this before the show, but how many lineups are you playing? What tournaments are you playing? Just so
I'm going to do the 20 max, and then I think I might do 1 or 2 entries in the $40 tonight.
Nice.
If it doesn't fill up. So see how that goes.
I like it. So I'm
Did
doing
you know, I like just kind of using up my crowns here. Did you know that if you like enter a contest and then just with your crowns and then just leave it, you get the cash?
Say that again?
If you use your DK crowns to enter a contest and then you withdraw your entry, it just goes right into your account. It's just free cash.
I mean, I know it's used as cash, but I don't think it's cash that you can withdraw.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Not that it matters.
Maybe you just
use it anyways, but I just thought it was kind of interesting. But
yeah, I know you get taxed on crowns too, which is
really
yeah.
You don't get taxed up here. That's gotta.
Oh yeah,
suck.
you don't get taxed.
So
I tax time is coming up, and that's
that's gotta hurt your bottom line a lot, hey, for U.S. players.
Yeah, I don't know exactly how it works, so I'm gonna have someone help me. I have no clue how to get the best bang for my buck, I guess. So we'll see.
Fair. That's so stupid. I don't understand. If you can't write off your losses, you shouldn't be taxed on your wins. Like, that's just dumb.
You can write off your loss. I don't know how it works. I shouldn't even be talking about taxes. I have no clue how it works. I just know you get taxed on crowns. So at the end of the year, in 9 months from now, use up those crowns because you're going to get taxed on them, and they're just cash. So take some shots at the end of the year. All right. Anything else in this game? You got any defensemen or goalies you want to talk about?
No, I think Jones is probably a little bit overpriced. Werenski on the power play 1, I don't hate or love. Just kind of not getting to much here, other than Columbus 1.
I like Seth Jones again, power play 2, but it doesn't really matter to me. He's just, I think the higher upside play, and Philly's just been giving up so many good chances, so many shot attempts. If you look at last 10 games, they're top 6 in all of them. I think they're second in both Corsi against per 60 and scoring chances against per 60 in any team's last 10. So that's a kind of a arbitrary number I like to look at. Last 10, you can look at 20 or whatever. But I just like to look at how teams are playing at even strength recently. And Philly's been really, really bad despite winning a bunch of games.
At least the advantage with going with Jones, I don't think he's going to be owned at all tonight. Like, you're probably going to get him at 5%. So
you think? I mean, he's getting somewhat owned just because.
Think so?
He is especially on a slate like tonight where there's not a ton of elite. There's no Brent Burns. There's no Carlson. And the most expensive guys are in his range. So in projections, he still might pop a little bit. So.
Fair point. I just like a lot of these defensemen priced a little bit below him, but. Makes sense for sure.
All right, let's move it on here. Tampa and Boston, we've got a 3.2 implied total for the Lightning, 3.4 for the Bruins. Louis Domingue going up against Tuukka Rask. And the one thing I noticed, and actually Corsi pointed out to me, I don't know if Corsi's in chat right now, but this game started at a 5.5 total, and it went up to 6.5 before we even got to the afternoon. So I don't know. Did you catch that at all?
No, I didn't. I haven't looked at the lines today too much.
So I didn't know what happened. I didn't know. I thought 3 or 4 guys were ruled out, or maybe it was just a mistake where I was looking, and it actually
just
opened
Domingue
at 6.
Starting instead of Vasilevsky confirmed, or
yeah, but we know you could have guessed that pretty easily. The total shouldn't have opened at 5.5 probably, right?
It's probably I'm guessing why would the Tampa total open at 2.7? Maybe that's just more of a misprice than anything, right? When is Tampa at 2.7? That's nuts.
Yeah. So basically it's a 5.7 up to 6.6. Matt says. Matt looks at the Vegas numbers a little bit. But it really has the feel of a high scoring game. Oh, interesting. All right. Steve likes this as a high scoring game. I'm assuming he would call this the high range of outcomes game, the large range of outcomes. You've got two good teams that are both good on both sides, offensively and defensively, and special teams as well. So you could see it going 5-4. You could see it going 2-1, and just being a lot of shots. So What do you see here? Any changes?
I don't know. It's interesting. Like I think I agree that it could go either way because Boston 1 and Boston 2 have been really good defensively. Tampa on back-to-backs. But Tampa 2 has been pretty porous defensively as well. So that's maybe where your like kind of high-endness comes from. So I was curious. I was actually just wanted to get your thoughts on it more than anything because you probably have a better feel for how these matchups are going to go. Like I was kind of assuming that Bergeron was going to be one of your sneaky plays tonight.
Yeah. I really like Bergeron and Marchand and Danton Heinen, whose price has come down a little bit. I'm leaving on Heinen. I mean, you guys don't have to if you don't want to. If you want to go with Krejci or DeBrusk, like be my guest. But Heinen's going to play with them. He's played with them a ton so far. So until he's not playing with them, I'm going to continue to leave him on when he's around 5K. I think the matchups are going to go Bergeron versus Point and Kucherov. In that case, I think that's an advantage for Bergeron. Steve points out you obviously have the backup goalie Domingue in net, so that's huge. Domingue's fine, but Vasilevsky is awesome. So it's just quite the downgrade, like not even saying bad stuff about Domingue. So, Bergeron line for me here. I really, really like Krejci, and probably this Coyle line will go up against Stamkos and Cirelli. But yeah, I'd rather not target lines that are going up against Bergeron on pretty big slates. So probably out on Point and Kucherov. It's worrisome because you've got such a good power play, and they're probably not going to be super highly owned because people probably recognize Boston's home numbers. So I'm going to be probably off of low-owned Tampa 2, which is always scary. So what about you?
Always scary for sure. I think that Boston 1 has the feel of a really sharp play tonight to me. Like it feels like it's not going to get much ownership, and I don't know. They got an A grade from Osimo. Tampa 2 giving up a ton of chances if that's who they choose to match up with. So I do like that Boston 1 call quite a bit.
So my numbers really like targeting against Tampa, just as far as like scoring chances against, high danger chances against when they're on the road. And this would be one of those spots, and especially with no Vasilevsky, like I think I'm more than ever willing to kind of trust that. So the numbers like Boston for me, especially Boston's top line, it makes sense from a matchup standpoint. We know the point line is a little bit worse defensively than what the Stamkos line has been this year, even though I don't think the Stamkos line has been great in this form with Palat and Miller, if I'm correct.
I got it right here.
What do you see for them?
So, I wrote Tampa 3 twice in my line combos. So I think they've been either way. Actually, it looks like both these lines have been pretty good.
Okay.
Tampa, so 6 or 5 high danger chances against.
Wow.
Let me just double check in my stats here, though.
Okay. Interesting. But anyways, I'm probably going with Bergeron here. And, last 10 Tampa hasn't been giving up scoring chances. Yeah, so that's the worrisome part. And I know the point line has been better defensively. So it's kind of a lot of different things pulling me in a lot of different directions here. And I hate the thought of fading Tampa 2, but I think that's going to be where it's at. So, this one should be terrible for me.
Tampa 2, I think I just screwed up uploading, but Tampa 2 has been pretty bad. So 10.58 high danger chances against. Well, I guess that's sort of par for the course. And 26.87. So just kind of middle of the pack.
Okay.
Tampa 2.
Tampa 2, do you mean the point
line? Oh, God, no, I got the wrong line again. Okay. No, Tampa 2 has been good. Tampa 2 has been good. So 5.21 high danger chances against. That's very limited minutes, though. Only 46 minutes together.
Okay. Yeah. Interesting. So. I don't know. Do you have a favorite play after kind of talking through all this? Do you have a line you're really targeting?
Well, I think I'm going to try and be overweight on Boston 1 and see what happens. And I think like Boston 2, just the price discount there as well. I'll probably have some shares in some of my Vegas lineups or some of these lineups that sort of you can fit them in, but also get like another cheap, decent line and still have one solid defender. So yeah, I'm going to go to them a little bit, but I definitely like Boston 1 as a contrarian play in GPPs. I think that's pretty smart.
Yeah, not terrible given their tough matchups every night. That's also a good point. The point line does go up against opposing top competition. but also like Bergeron is the cream of the crop competition too. So interesting. This one's tough, and someone said it's a national TV game too. Man, I definitely want to watch this. So hopefully I'm making money while I watch it, but it should be good hockey nonetheless. Where are you at for defensemen here?
Not getting it too much. I noticed that Testosterone. I just did a quick look at his lineups last night, and he had like 80% Giordano or something. But his second highest owned defenseman was Victor Hedman at 60%. I'm guessing partly that was, or even more than that. I think partly that was probably just because of the Rangers' penalty kill. I don't know, or just the lack of other top end defensemen. But that was kind of interesting to me. I don't know. I don't usually get to Hedman too much.
Yeah, I rarely get to a ton of Hedman. When I go 4-3-1, obviously you get him with the point line or even the Stamkos line if you're correlating with defensemen. But yeah, I mean, Krug is grading out okay for me. C value on Osmos grades. So I don't know. It's probably going to be just Boston 1, mix in a little bit of Krug. It's the trickiest game of the night, I think, from I don't know, just two really good teams that are sound all the way around.
But you get the backup goalie for Tampa on back-to-backs as well, so I think you kind of give maybe the slight bump to Boston.
Yeah, I do. So I'm just going to kind of go with what the numbers say and try not to overthink this one. What my numbers say, other people's numbers might say other stuff. And they could certainly be right. QQ, are you guys bare feet or wearing shoes? Boom asks. What are you wearing?
None of your business.
None of my business?
Crocs. Pink Crocs.
Pink Crocs. All right, I'm just wearing socks. No shoes in the house, Boom. You know the rules. Am I sipping on
an American
Molson?
thing, isn't it? People just wear their shoes in the house all the time.
Not my house. You don't wear shoes in my house.
I don't understand that. I go to a house, I take my shoes off right away.
Yeah, me too. Me too. So, yeah, no shoes in the house. You got to show some respect. Unless I know you pretty well. I think Bobby got the link to the wrong show. Yeah, I always think that. I always never know what he's talking about, as you know too, Steve. All right, Oilers and the Senators. We've got a 3.3 implied total for Edmonton, 2.8 for the Sens. Mikko Koskinen going on the back-to-back, and Craig Anderson in net for the Senators. What do we see here?
It's another interesting game here, hey? So, Edmonton on back-to-backs. I think Ottawa's basically keeping their lines the same, except Batherson's going to come in for Balcers on Ottawa 3. And then on the Edmonton side, Connor McDavid and Nugent Hopkins. Looks like they're skating. One of the beat writers reported that they would skate with Zach Kassian tonight. So, instead of Gagne, and Gagne would move down to the fourth line. I'm guessing, though, they just had either an optional or no morning skate. So, we won't know for sure until line rushes, but that's what we're expecting.
Yeah, so good old $2,600 Kassian is back in play, I suppose. I don't know why they love him so much with McDavid, but that's the way we're doing things these days.
I think it's more of a who else are you going to play up there?
Why would you want Jordan Eberle and Taylor Hall when you can have Zach Kassian and Tobias Reeder and Alex Chason, who's actually been pretty good. So maybe we shouldn't hate on Chason. But all right, as far as matchups go here, probably going to see Pajot go up against McDavid for most of the time. As you guys saw, I do think it's a pretty good matchup for the Pajot line. I don't know how good this trio is going to be, Pajot, Ryan, and Smith. We have a sample with Pajot, Smith, and Payarvi, or Ryan and Payarvi. I can't remember who, and they were actually pretty good as a shutdown line, getting really tough matchups. I just know that Pajot is going to be on the ice a lot against McDavid, and McDavid's not a good defensive center just yet. And Pajot plays huge minutes too. Power play 2-time now. Ryan on the top power play. What I said in the article is you can kind of go with Tkachuk or Duclair if you want, or even Colin White if you want to go double center instead of Smith, just to get more power play time against Edmonton's terrible kill. But there's quite a bit of value, I think, on the Ottawa side here, especially on the back-to-back. Hopefully tired goalie as well. I mean, which side are you on here?
Yeah. I don't know. Like, I think, like, I'm just wondering what the ownership for McDavid's going to be like, especially a low dollar contest. I feel like it's probably going to get a little bit out of control. And then, like, you have the Edmonton, like, with that line, they've given up a lot of chances as well. So I think that's probably a pretty smart move going with the Pajot line as a bit of a contrarian play. I noticed they came up in your rankings a lot too, hey?
Yeah. Yep.
So
So
the other flip side of this is just fading Edmonton one and fading Ottawa as well, and then just getting your offense from Shabbat, who's reasonably priced and probably my favorite defense play in the night.
yeah, I like Shabbat a lot. That'll be a surprise to no one.
Yeah,
How deep would you go before you hit JPG? Not very deep, actually. So
yeah, it fits well on some of the higher price stacks for sure.
yeah, that's the thing. You're cutting out just a little bit. So I don't know if you're loading stuff over there or what. If you're on natural stat trick, it might be making it a little bit slow. So hopefully the audience isn't getting too much.
5Gs here, 5Gs.
What does that mean? Oh, 5G, like internet.
Yeah.
I only have 4G over here, but I got the old Ethernet cord. So shout out to Tom for that.
Okay.
Gave me
That's why.
the link to the Ethernet cord, 50 feet long, so it goes all the way downstairs. And it's really annoying to the people I live with. Anyways, I think the most important thing here, if you don't want to play Ottawa, that's fine. I don't think most nights they're going to kill you. I just think they're going to be super low owned, and that line's going to stick on Edmonton 1. I know the Pajot line has been pretty good this year defensively. And for me, that just makes it a little bit easier to stomach going underweight on McDavid and Nugent Hopkins and Kassian. When I do have them in the few lineups I have, the few percentage lineups I have, it's probably going to be with Kassian, and I'm just going to include him. Still a good power play spot for McDavid and Nugent Hopkins, just because how bad Edmonton is or Ottawa is on the kill. Well, both teams, but just in terms of McDavid. So I don't know, just two bad teams going at it. I'm just going to take the one with a bunch of cheap options that I think have favorable matchups.
Yeah, I agree. And Edmonton one giving up, well, in limited ice time, 20 minutes so far, so not a lot, but you could kind of see it. 21 high danger chances and 44 scoring chances against. So obviously that'll come down, but it's still a pretty good, still pretty bad numbers for that small sample.
Why no Clefbaum talk? Sore spot. Clefbaum, I mean, it's not his fault. I mean, I included him in the lineup. I don't know. He got me a 0.5 when I was trying to bink on, what was that, Friday or Saturday night? I think it was Saturday because I had limited lineups. But yeah, he let me down. And then last night he does the classic 5 shots on goal, 5 blocks, and he just, 5 DK.
Did he last night? I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, 5 DK points without getting a point. So could have used that the other night, but that's all right. I'm sure I'll get the money back at some point from good old Oscar K. I'm not really on the Oilers again, so just want to reiterate that. I know it's a decent matchup, but I think when you dig into the line matching stuff, it makes sense to go underweight here. Anything else here?
Did you already talk about Shabbat, or?
I mean, we just kind of mentioned him. I think he's one of our top guys tonight, both of us. Yeah. Right. Nurse and Clefbaum, actually, I think you. So trolling aside, I think they're both actually good values. So if you don't want to play Edmonton forwards, or if you're playing McDavid, like Nurse is clearly the guy you play. But if you just want a one-off and you're kind of mixing and matching your defensemen, I think both of those guys should be in play because they do have upside by themselves. So as you saw last night with Clefbaum, as you see often with Nurse as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Sweet.
Anything else? I do actually. I like Craig Anderson, 7K.
Yeah.
I think it's a winnable game for Ottawa here.
That's true. Yeah. Edmonton's bad.
Yep. Vancouver and Arizona, 2.6 implied total for the Canucks, 2.9 for the Coyotes. Not sure who's going just yet for Vancouver. Darcy Kemper going for the Coyotes. Any new changes here?
I think it's there's rumor in Vancouver that it's going to be Demko tonight. So they talked a little bit about that in the press. So he's only played one game this year, and that was about a month ago. So What's kind of jury's out on him? Like he's probably a downgrade on Markstrom. Well, definitely is. But news and notes, looks like Goldobin was back up on the Besser and Pettersson line last night, which I like a lot more than having like Pearson on there. Goldobin's at least shown some offensive flair. He sniped one the other night. And then I think, yeah, so they just switched spots, Tanner Pearson and him. And then I don't think there's any changes for the Arizona side. It's just the same line combos. Do you notice anything?
I don't actually. Nothing different than what we saw was 2 nights ago from Arizona. You caught the one that I was going to mention, the Goldobin thing. So he skated with Pettersson and Besser. I caught that one from last night. Tanner Pearson, glad they got him off the line. Glad they're giving Goldobin another shot, hopefully, for the whole game. For here, we're probably going to see Stepan go up against the Pettersson-Besser Goldobin line. That's not really super favorable for me for the Pettersson line. I mean, I think they're probably still in play, especially for MME stuff. Stuff that I'm playing.
Which line would you see? Arizona 1?
Yeah, the Stepan line against Pettersson and Besser.
So who gets Arizona 2?
Which are you considering? Dvorak,
the Keller, Dvorak, Galchenyuk line.
That would probably be the third line, actually. No,
third line?
So the Richardson line went up against Trocheck in their last game. So it was Stepan hard match against Barkov. Trocheck got matched up against Richardson, Hinostroza, and Ponecker. I think he had Kempe on there at some point with Richardson, but Richardson was the center that they used against the second line for Florida, who has a clear pecking order.
Right.
I mean, here there's also a clear pecking order. Vancouver 2 is really their top line, so Stepan would go up against them. Horvat, kind of their next most dangerous guy, and then,
Nothing on that third line.
Yeah, so Arizona, their penalty kill, very good. I don't know exactly how they've been lately, but for the season, really awesome PK. I don't know that it's a great 5-on-5 matchup for either line here. I thought there would be, but man, I think the line I'm most interested in here is the Dvorak, Galchenyuk, Keller line. What do you see?
Yeah, certainly the line with the most upside. That Arizona 1 got a lot of ice time last game at 5-on-5, about 33%. So, and then that Arizona 2, I'm expecting to be pretty porous defensively. So it's kind of a shame that Vancouver 3 would be going up against them because Vancouver 3 is awful. So yeah, I could totally see that. It looks like as well that Arizona's penalty killing has kind of rebounded a little bit after a rough stretch. I think it was probably because I don't know if Chychrun is on their PK, but he was out for a little bit, so maybe that affected things. It's usually just Jarmelson and I don't know if it's him or Ekman Larson, but so still a pretty good PK for them. Sorry. What was your question? I got off on a tangent there.
I was just asking what kind of your thoughts were on the game.
Yeah, I don't know. Like Arizona has all these cheap lines, but the problem with Arizona is like anytime you play them, like when do they ever win a slate, right? Like maybe once we've seen this year, like that, and if it is going to be someone's probably going to be that Keller line. I remember like the Stepan Hinostroza panic line was good against the Senators once, but that's like it. And the goals from Arizona just seem so spread out. They're so like it's just so random with them, and it's Arizona, so I wouldn't go like too overweight on them or anything, but they do. Some of these stacks are nice prices. Vancouver on back-to-back, starting a backup goalie. This could be a good spot for them too. So
yeah,
I'm torn.
Yeah, I don't know. I just like Dvorak kind of as a player for DFS.
Yeah.
And then
he's got some serious offensive upside, right?
Yeah, I mean he was usable last year a bunch of times. I remember I was using him when I was kind of single entering as a one-off or in a mini stack type of thing. And Arizona's just forever super super cheap. And yeah, it's not a huge goal total, but team on a back-to-back. Vancouver amongst the league leaders still in time shorthanded. They're top 5. I know Arizona doesn't have a great power play or anything, but still extra time for super cheap guys. If they do get a power play goal, that would be huge. And Dvorak, Galchenyuk, and Keller also all get power play time. So just kind of that's the line I really want to zero in on for the Coyotes. And I'm hoping they get matchups against the Vancouver depth here.
That's fair. Man, like they've been so bad. That line's been so bad defensively. I think they were -3 last game too, and they're just like they give up a ton of chances. So I just don't like Granlund, Roussel, and Pearson. You think that's going to be like their main kind of? They're just bad.
Granlund,
like Yeah, I
Do
guess
you
you
have
could
numbers on
like
them? Or
no,
Granlund and
no,
Roussel?
Pearson's yeah, and Granlund doesn't usually play center. It's
Mm,
usually like Sutter or Gaudette in that role.
sure.
So I don't think we'd have much to go on there.
Yeah. What about the cheap defenseman here?
Yeah, so I late swapped to Biega last night, and it was great. I just loved every second of it. Had they not taken away his goal, I would have been in contention there. Um, so I think he's an interesting play. You might want to like people aren't probably on the Biega bandwagon yet, but he's been playing pretty well lately. I still think like in a vacuum, Hutton and Stetcher are better plays, especially Hutton, but you're getting like 10 times the ownership on them as well. So if you want to kind of leave a little cash for your Hutton lineups and then switch out to Biega, I don't think that's a bad move. And Pouliot as well as like just a bare min defenseman. He's just been buried with Gabranson a lot this year, and anytime a defenseman plays with Gabranson, their numbers go to hell. So Pouliot's an offensive-minded guy at the bare min that I don't mind taking a couple flyers on.
How many minutes did Biega play last night? If you don't
21 or 22, I think.
Okay.
Like
yeah.
it's less than, and like the entire overtime, it was Hutton or Stetcher. So
Okay.
that might have switched things up a little bit. But yeah, 20 minutes last game, 5.5 points, 4 points the night before in DK. So he just plays like a little bit more high event than these other guys for whatever reason. And you're only going to have like if his play continues, you're only going to get like maybe tonight before people realize like he's actually not bad.
And if he's getting, he's not getting power play time yet. I don't know.
Nope.
Maybe they just don't trust him there or whatever. He just kind of seems like a guy that's just going to fire from everywhere, which is exactly what you want in DFS. So he's a guy that's popped in my numbers. Just use like individual core support for 60. He's always up top. The issue with him is he plays 12 minutes a lot of games.
Yeah.
So maybe now that they got good old Gudbranson up out of there, I can never say his name right. Whatever, Gudbranson. And
the flip side is like Biega's never really been that good. Like he's already a 30-year-old defenseman.
He's
so
not good, but
I'm probably getting a little carried away here, but
no, but he's fine for DFS. I think is the thing here. There's a difference between being good and being good for DFS. So like Dvorak, who knows if he's good, but I know he's decent for DFS. So,
yeah.
All right. I mean Ekman Larson and Chikrin are both way too cheap. I think Ekman Larson's probably the guy that a lot of people are going to play. Pivot to Chikrin if you like that for $200 more. I think that's perfectly fine as well. And then Hutton, just very clearly the guy for me on Vancouver, outside of Biega if you're going that route. But Hutton is the power play one guy, even though Arizona doesn't, their PK is good, but just 3,500, he's going to play 28 minutes again. It's just really tough to pass up. Like, the odds that you're on the ice and get an assist are just so good if your team can put up 3 or 4 goals. So
yeah, 100%.
Yeah, so enjoy your 1.5 DK points again from good old Ben Hutton. Florida.
So bitter.
Yeah, I know, right? I keep playing this guy. Florida and Vegas, 2.7 implied total for the Panthers, 3.7 for the Golden Knights. Roberto Luongo and Malcolm Subban starting for their respective teams. What is the news here?
Yeah, so it looks like Mike Hoffman's going to be up on Florida 1. A little bit interesting there. Our boy Jace Howley-Ruck, whoever the hell he is,
Jace
who's
H.
terrible. He's back on Florida 3, is that right? Yeah, Florida 3. And then looks like Vetrano's on Florida 2. Just double check those line rushes. That was from this morning, so I would assume they're correct. And this is interesting because we have Vegas 2, who kind of was really good last game, and as we expected them to be, going up against Florida 1, who's actually been pretty porous defensively this year. I think of all of the lines with a minimum sample, they're the worst. So anything more than 20 minutes, they're the worst line in terms of scoring chances against and high danger chances against. 14.37, 30 scoring chances against. Who would you see Florida 1 going up against? Would Vegas hard match, or are they just going to roll their top 2 lines?
Vegas is just so deep. They just kind of have been rolling all year. I think they kind of believe in their depth lines too, so they're not afraid to kind of throw them out against whoever.
And they had that third line's been good too.
Yeah, for sure. So I just don't really think they feel like they need to hard match. For us, it would always help. But I think for the most part, you're going to see top 6 against top 6 here. Yeah, I was just looking at those numbers for the Barkov line, and for me, that just gives a little bit of a boost to both of Vegas's top lines. Barkov's going to play big minutes, so it's going to be a lot of time against Stastny. It's going to be a lot of time against Vegas 1 as well. The Stone line was incredible in their first game. They doubled them up in shot attempts, scoring chances, all that stuff. So even if they get matched up against the Trocheck line, that's perfectly fine with me. They go up against Riley Sheehan and Troy Brouwer and Jace H. That is even better. So Mark Stone is just really awesome, and that line as a whole is underpriced. I would say the same thing about Vegas 1 as well. I was a little bit worried about targeting a ton of Vegas here just because I thought they might be overowned, and Florida has been pretty decent defensively just from the amount of chances they give up. But yeah, that top line has not been good. So they probably don't go on Natural Stat Trick and check their numbers there. So maybe that's why they put it back together. But hopefully we can take advantage.
Dale Talon-led club probably isn't doing that too much.
Yeah. So top 6 here with a lean to Vegas 2. I agree with you.
Yeah. Any interest in getting some? Or sorry, before we move to Florida, do you have some thoughts on ownership on Vegas 1 or Vegas 2?
I don't. I think it's going to be pretty split because you've got wingers that people like to play. I can't pick a guy on either of the top 2 lines that people are going to leave off. People won't leave off Stone. They certainly won't leave off Pacioretty for that price. Maybe Riley Smith gets left off the top line. So just thinking of ownership in total.
That's a great point.
Maybe Vegas 1 sees a little bit less ownership than Vegas 2, but if people are just going by projections, Vegas 1 is going to blow almost every other line out of the water in value, just because Carlson and Smith aren't. They should be more than 5K. But yeah, the new toy perspective there from Stone as well, and then him with pretty cheap line mates. I think it makes for pretty even ownership. I don't know that there's going to be a huge discrepancy between the two.
That makes a ton of sense.
Got anything?
Josh Stack?
Yeah, I think you could do that. It looks like Osmo believes that too, although Osmo doesn't ever Josh Stack. I've never asked Alex if he's going to do that. I'm going to chat with him tomorrow, though, so maybe I'll ask him.
I think he would have in some of his in this position or some of these Minnesota lines that have graded out really well in his rankings.
Well, Testosterone's the king of it.
Testosterone.
If this was a 4-gamer, Testosterone would have Vegas 1 with Vegas 2. He'll have Vegas 1 with Vegas 3, Vegas 1 with Vegas 4. He is not afraid to just onslaught in 10 different combos type of thing. So, yeah, it's this one should be interesting. Panthers moved from plus 185 to plus 160, by the way, and with heavy betting public on the Knights too. So some reverse line movement there. I heard Jake was a designated chirper at last year's live final. Certainly not that. It would be cool if Jake and Nolan gave us their top plays from each price range. We could probably do that at the end.
Yeah, Jake has his written up as well in his article if you're a paying member.
Yeah, so I do have the cheat sheets. That's a good time to kind of plug that. My projections are also on the site. So those that I built from scratch using natural stat trick data. And cheat sheets, Osmo's rankings, power plays, Nolan's line change article, that's free. We got premium Slack as well. So promo code Hit the Ice that you see on your screen. Use that when you sign up. You get 50% off the first month. Anything else left in this game?
Anything on the Florida side that you wanna hit?
Not really. I probably would have had some interest in Barkov with Huberdeau and Vetrano. But now that Hoffman's up there, as weird as it is to say, for some reason they just have not clicked together. And the Vetrano with Barkov and Huberdeau was really good. So disappointing to see them kind of take that away.
It's weird.
Vegas is just really tough for me to target on a pretty decent sized slate.
Full power play 1 correlation and Malcolm Subban in net.
I don't think Subban's that bad.
No, he's good. He's just not as good as Fleury, I think.
Yeah, give him some time.
Slight downgrade. I don't think it's a bad play though. I think if you want to go for a contrarian play tonight, Florida 1's where you go with less than 5% ownership and full power play 1 correlation.
Sure, makes sense just from an ownership standpoint. 3 talented players too, so they just haven't clicked enough for me to want to go super heavy on them.
That is fair.
Schmidt has been a guy I've been targeting a little bit lately, just playing
Looks
big
like
minutes.
yeah, he's still in the power play 2 as well. Another note: the power play 2 got most of the ice time last game, so that's the second line without Stone. Sadly, God, if they were like correlated on the power play, that'd be so nice. So yeah, but over the past 3 games, it's been more Theodore and the top line. So it's kind of like an even split between Schmidt and Theodore if you want access to that power play. But
Yep. All right, ready to move it on here?
yeah.
Last game of the night, a real barn burner. We've got the Dallas Stars and the Los Angeles Kings. 2.7 implied total for the Stars, 2.6 for the Kings. Anton Khudobin in net. Probably going to be Jonathan Quick. I'm not sure if the Kings are starting a back-to-back tonight and tomorrow. I haven't looked at tomorrow's slate just yet, but
there's something to keep an eye on, though. Yeah. Changes, yeah, just Jamie Benn's out. I was so choked about that. This is going to be my favorite. I was going to late swap in Jamie Benn and just win all the money tonight at getting him at 1% ownership on like a Dallas power play 1 stack, but that is not to be. So, yeah, I kind of like, I think Cogliano is back in. I think we didn't get line combos, so I'm guessing that Joel L'Espérance, which directly translates to Joel the Hope, is... Okay. Out for Dallas on that third line, and Cogliano would draw in. So fire up Dallas, or maybe Dickinson will be on the third line. Not entirely sure how that'll go. So just check your line rushes. I don't think the Dallas Beats were on it this morning. And then I think no changes for the Kings as well, though I didn't actually look too closely at them because they're the Kings, and you're not going to play anything outside of maybe the top 2 lines.
Right.
Johnny Brodzinski? No.
God, it's really tough. Here, like this is a game. So 7 games, you take out 1 game, like, and you have 150 lineups. Like you're really kind of limiting yourself. If there's ever a game to do it, it might be this one. But I kind of like. I think just from a.
I like both. I don't know. Like I kind of disagree a little bit, just in the sense that like LA's defense core is so banged up and so like depleted with no Martinez and Muzzin that like I could see Dallas 1 having some success here. And then the flip side is that Dallas 1 line hasn't been all that great defensively. So LA 1 is cheap and could be decent for a goal, maybe 2. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah. So and then I would expect like Kopitar to match up against again, right? So and they're like that. Yeah, with Rupe Hintz on that line, they're giving up like. What is it? 13 high danger chances and 37 scoring chances for in 55 minutes so far.
Yeah, and when you use scoring and menu adjusted statistics as well, they're even worse. So that's kind of the thing here. I was like, man, I cannot wait to cross this game off. And then I looked at what Dallas 1 has done, and they've just been really, really bad. Kind of short sample, but so many high danger chances against, so many scoring chances against. And they're going to get matched up against Kopitar. So, like, it's a favorable matchup for Kopitar. He is just dirt cheap. I follow back on the power play. You get him and Brown on the top power play. I don't really love attacking Dallas, but just knowing that they're going to be stuck on them for basically the whole game, like, maybe they can generate some offense. And you're right, maybe, like, you don't need, like, you probably need a full-line goal and maybe a little bit extra, like, if they somehow get there on the power play. I know the Kings are absolute trash, but I'm willing to at least consider playing the Kopitar line here. They're just a good value.
And it won't take much to get overweight too, right? Like you want to go, if you're entering 100 lineups, they're going to be in 5, so you put them in 10 and you're twice the field, right? So or 20, all you need to do is really put them in like 3 lineups and you're 3 times the field. So I think they're going to be 5% owned, right? I don't know. Something like
maybe
that.
A little bit more. I'm interested to see their ownership. Whenever I think they're going to be completely unowned and I kind of jump on them, like they're always like 8, 9, 10%. So that's a little bit frustrating. I don't know. I mean, I'm just playing all the bad teams tonight. So Seth was dead on. I woke up to Seth trolling us on Twitter about all the bad teams that he saw on the slate and how excited we were going to be. And here I am talking about how I'm playing Ottawa, Arizona, who's actually not that bad. And then good old Los Angeles Kings
he knew.
Is the ugliest. Yeah.
We're just so sharp that we target all these bad lines. That's all.
Yeah.
Making an LA Kings stack right now. Let's do it.
Yeah, it's always a little bit of me dies every time I put Kopitar in a lineup, or Carter or Toffoli. I wanted that line to be a thing with Kovalchuk, and that line's also dirt cheap. I don't know if I can do it with them. just yet.
Fair.
Yeah, so that is that's pretty much it. You got any defensemen outside of the obvious guys like Doughty and Klingberg?
No.
I guess I should say, like, you should have some Dallas one if you're MMEing, just because of how bad the Kings are at the penalty kill as well, and they're actually pretty affordable when you add in Hintz on the top power play. So
he's so great if Jamie Benn was playing.
Yeah, it would be a lot better. But
1%.
Yeah. Klingberg is probably my favorite, actually, individual play on the Stars here. All right. Got to mention this promo again. So we've only got a few more days of it. March 4th, that'd be Monday. Maybe it's announced Monday night or Tuesday afternoon, but we're giving away a $200 gift card. I see a bunch of you have already liked the video. You've already taken the first step of gaining additional entries into this contest. $200 NHL Shop gift card. You can buy some swag, $200 worth of clothing or whatever you want, bobbleheads, if people still do bobbleheads. So you like the video, super easy to do. You can do that right now. And then the second step is you're going to answer the prompt that we have for today in the public comment box. Once this video is done, the prompt for today is if you could make one trade just purely for DFS benefits, who would it be? Or a better way to ask that would be, who would you like to see play together? That's somewhat reasonable. So yeah, answer that question once we are done going live. And we're probably going to get out of here in just a minute. So Nolan, you got anything else you want to mention before we head out?
Nothing. Vegas 2. Let's go. This is the time. I'm ready.
Yeah. Enjoy the bad teams you're playing. Watch the early games. Probably don't watch the late games would be my advice. And hopefully you profit. So good luck, guys. Hit us up in Slack or Twitter. If you got any questions, we're always around near lock. So good luck tonight, and we will be back tomorrow.